Friends, in this year UPSC Mains, the essay questions were similar to the last 3 to 4 years. As expected, all the 8 questions are statement based. Most of the statements are social, psychological and spiritual based, and the approach is almost same. So I am making video on each of these essays. This video is on the second question of the essay paper. The question is, visionary decision making happens at the intersection of intuition and logic. So visionary decision making happens at the intersection of intuition and logic. So as I tell, you can definitely start the essay with an example. Either you can start the essay with an example, or you can start by explaining the keywords. Before explaining the meaning of the entire topic of the statement, better you explain what do you mean by visionary decision making. For example, you can tell that the visionary decision making is all about giving importance to long-term consequences, keeping in mind long-term goals rather than immediate needs and requirements. Only those leaders who have the vision in their mind can make such kind of decisions. So you can explain in that way. Also, you have to explain differently what do you mean by intuition and what do you mean by logic. For example, see friends, only explaining intuition you can spend a paragraph or two also, because it's a very important word in this essay. Only when you are able to explain the meaning of intuition according to you clearly, you can explain the statement better. For example, intuition is what you feel, what signals from inside about good or bad, or do you think it's right or wrong. And intuition generally comes in two ways. One is from subconscious mind based on memory. As you learn the information over a period of time, most of the information gets recorded in your subconscious mind, and while taking some decisions, your subconscious mind tells you what is right, what is wrong. It is basically memory based. Second thing is experience based. Experience means based on your experience of the past and present, your mind tells you, makes you feel what is right or wrong, or what is the better choice. So these are the two aspects of intuition. And intuition mostly will not have any reasoning. It will not have any rationality. It comes naturally from inside you. So, however, whatever decisions you are making based on intuition, you have to investigate that. As intuitions may not follow any logic, rationality or reason, you have to investigate why your intuition is saying so. So like that, write a paragraph or so about intuition. So first paragraph you can write about what is visionary decision making. In fact, you can write an example also, a small example, 3-4 lines. For example, in the India's independent movement, Gandhiji is the one who introduced the non-violent passive movement, passive resistance, non-violence. So non-violence is very visionary at that time, because those were the days where most of the independence movements are based on armed rebellions as well as violence. However, Gandhi felt that only through non-violence in the long term, India can become a country of non-violence. It will help us in the long term. So like that you can say he is a visionary leader. So a small example. Like that, the keywords of the question, what is decision making, what is intuition, logic, I have to explain them in some first 3 paragraphs. You can come and explain the meaning of the entire statement in your perspective. So for example, some students might mean this essay differently, but that is okay. As long as you are able to express your perspective clearly, that is okay. The remaining essay you will write based on your perspective only. For example, we will say that our decision making can become visionary. We can take visionary decisions only when we use both, only when we are able to balance the both. So that meaning you can write in 1 or 2 paragraphs. You can say that intuition gives you the right direction and logic makes you think how to logically, rationally, objectively do the task. So which task you have to do, what choice you have to make comes from intuition. How to implement it, make it better, comes from the logic. You can write like that. You have to balance both of them. That is what you have to mean. So I have, and then friends, after that, you can actually write critically. You have to show your critical thinking also. Critical thinking, that means if decisions are made only with intuition without logic, what happens? Give some examples. Then write, if decisions are made only with logic without intuition, what happens? Give some examples. For the entire statement, give some examples. And towards the end, I always suggest that your essay shall not consist only of the examples. You have to write your suggestions. For example, what is my suggestion? How can we use this statement in the present days? Also, what can we teach youth from this statement? How the statement is applicable for the country? We have to write those kind of things. Let us see each of them. Let us see each of them. As I said, first we will define what is visionary decision making according to you. We will tell that it is making choices that are in long term, that takes care of long term goals and vision. And as I told you, you can write example of Mahatma Gandhi. Then we write about intuition. We say that intuition does not follow any reason. It only follows a subconscious memory as well as the experience. Memory as well as experience. Also, for example, you can write a few lines, for example, like if at all you have to make a decision, you have two choices A and B, and if your intuition says that choice A is correct, just because intuition says choice A is correct, you should not go about it. You have to investigate, understand why intuition is saying A is correct, understand logically, and then go about it. And then we will write what do we mean by logic. Logic means ability to think rationally, using data, statistics, using the facts, objective thinking, which will be correct from any point of view. That is called logical thinking. So we will mention that. Then we will try to explain the entire statement. We will say that the statement is true because intuition will tell you the direction, whereas logic will tell you how to work. Also, we have to optimally balance these two. Any overemphasis on one of them may disturb this harmony in decision making. We write about that. And we say that in complex scenarios also, where logic may not really help you think innovatively, intuition helps you think innovatively. Your experience, your subconscious mind helps you think. For example, it actually your vision and your long-term thinking and your intuition will actually help you understand what situations may come, what consequence may come if you take such a decision. So you have to balance those both. And after that, friends, you have to always give some examples for a statement. As this is a statement given in the essay topic, if you want to write some 4 or 5 examples, try to be careful. Don't write all examples from the same sector. If one example is from science technology, another can be from history, one can be from environment. Try to cover more sectors of the UPSC syllabus so that the essay looks better. For example, on a global scale, I found the example of Steve Jobs to be better. Because Steve Jobs at that time, he felt that iPod is doing one kind of function. There is device for internet communication and there is a normal phone. So why don't we combine all the 3 into a single device called iPhone? That is the intuition actually. There is no logical evidence that such a device is required. It is his intuition that if you combine these 3 into a single device, it will become popular. And he is able to make the work possible through technology. So logic, using the logic and technology, he is able to create an iPhone which actually revolutionized the industry of smartphones. This example you can write in your own words. Another example I chose from India economy. For example, Green Revolution. I felt that Green Revolution we can actually connect to the essay topic because at the time in 1960s, people of India, most of them are starving out of hunger because the productivity as well as production of grains is very less, food grains is very less. Also, we are dependent on the imports. So the intuition of the policymaker said that you have to solve both the problems of starvation as well as import dependence. And logically they decided that that is possible only if you can start high yielding variety. Particularly they focused at the time on the wheat and rice, and it really solved the problem of food grains in India. It reduced the imports. It actually completely eliminated, stopped the imports. So there also there is a good combination, right balance of intuition as well as logic, rationality, and that changed the face of agriculture in India. Few more examples. Actually you can write some examples. I picked up 4 examples. One example, ancient India. Ancient India, particularly this is their NCERT. NCERT also, this is their traditional step wells. In the olden days, in the arid regions of Rajasthan, Gujarat, Western Punjab, in these arid regions, there are some periods where people faced the water scarcity based on the seasons, and using their experience and intuition, they felt that there is a strong need of designing something to store the water, to conserve the water, to use it at the time when water scarcity is there. But using the logic, they are able to design the structures. They are able to architecturally build the step wells. So again, this is a good combination of intuition as well as logic. It's a right combination of both that helped the arid areas to face the problem of water scarcity using these bawolis. It's called bawolis. Then finally, I took one example from the Constitution of India. As India was becoming independent at the time, the makers of the Constitution felt that, based on experience and intuition, they felt that to address the diverse demands, diverse sections of society of India, parliamentary democracy is the best thing. That's their intuition, in fact. But to make it possible, they have logically gone through different constitutions, different parliament democracies, tried to bring the best points of all the constitutions logically, rationally, and able to make the Constitution of India. So in that way also, see, the empirical data is important. Only if you logically analyze data, you can make the best constitution suitable for the Indian requirements and demands. So in that way, we are able to make a great constitution which is able to really address the diverse problems of society and nature of India. And I stopped there, but you can write 2 or 3 more examples also if you want. From environment also you can write some example environment. You can say that the Paris, the COP actually has some intuition. The intuition is that if you go in the same direction, the world will end at some point of time because of too much of pollution and scarcity of water. That's intuition, in fact. But logically they are able to stop or reduce the climate change. They try to reduce climate change by certain logical actions. You can write about that also. Friends, then see, I always tell you, these kind of essays, you cannot just stop with explaining what the essay means. Some people write what the essay means and examples, but that's not enough. You have to tell, to make it possible, what is required. For example, to be able to use intuition and logic together to make visionary decisions, what is required is courage. You should have the courage to accept the intuition and work on the intuition. Only such people are called as visionary leaders. Example, same coming back to Mahatma Gandhi. His practice of non-violence in the India's independence struggle. In 1922 February, India faced this Chaura Chauri incident. At that incident, see, already NCM was started already, and non-violent struggle is going on, but people of India were not well trained for the non-violent techniques or measures. They are unable to practice it. So Chaura was a violent incident, but the freedom movement is in a full swing. At the time, Gandhi was able to take a decision of halting the NCM. It actually attracted widespread criticism. Many great leaders criticized Gandhi that how can he stop a movement which is full-fledged in a good swing. But he has taken the decision with courage, because his intuition said that if you accept that incident, then our course of freedom fighting would be shifting from non-violent to violent. So he has taken that decision, though it is unpopular and risky to stop, he has taken a decision. So courage is required, courage to take visionary decisions by following your intuition. Now friends, any kind of statement in the essay you have to critically analyze. For example, the essay says that you can make visionary decisions by using intuition, logic. Now you have to say, if only intuition is used, no logic, what happens? And only logic, no intuition, what happens? So one example each is enough. For example, see, intuition without logic, will be misguided. Similarly, logic without intuition will also affect the innovation of decision that you make. Now, first example, where intuition is there, but logic is not full-fledged. I felt about demonetization, but you don't write the same example, but don't completely criticize demonetization, because it's a very good action taken by Government of India. Don't completely criticize. Only tell that the demonetization, the intention of government was really great. The intuition of government to curb the black money, stop the corruption, is really very applaudable. So on that intuition, government went ahead and took the decision of demonetization. But logically, they could not really plan how to demonetize properly, because of which what happened is they have to face widespread criticism. GDP of India actually fell down for that year because of demonetization. And several poor people were affected in the exchange of currency notes. There were people affected. Long queues were there. ATM machines did not really work at the time. However, the idea of completely curbing the black money did not realize, because most of the money they could actually exchange. Those what we think have earned the money through corruption, they were able to exchange. Hence, the logic was not really great, but intuition was great in the demonetization. That example I have taken. You can take some other example. Then, for the example of logic is there, but no intuition. For that, I have taken the Navi Mumbai. Basically, old Mumbai was there. It was overpopulated. Then the government felt that Navi Mumbai, along the west coast of Maharashtra, west coast of Mumbai, they pumped in a lot of money for affordable housing, large scale residential projects, thinking that they can actually depopulate the old Mumbai, thinking that they can easily attract the old Mumbai population to the Navi Mumbai. But it did not happen. Their logic is correct. The logic is what? High population of old Mumbai, west coast is empty, we can construct. But intuition is wrong, because what happened at the time was distance was more. Connectivity was not good to Navi Mumbai, and people are emotionally, culturally attached to the old Mumbai. Hence, it took a lot of years to actually work out. In the initial stages, they have to face heavy losses. Now, friends, after doing all these things, what we have done till now, we took the statement, explained the keywords, explained the entire meaning, then we gave some examples, then we critically analyzed, telling if this is there, if logic is there, without intention, what is the problem? Intuition, without logic, what is the problem? Now what we will do is, we will stop explaining the examples and all. We will come to what can we learn from this essay statement, and what do I want to suggest from the statement. What can we learn? We learned that you should always try to balance the logic with the intuition, because only logic may not be really able to give you the ideas which intuition can give. So that's what we learn from the statement. Also, subjective and objective inputs both are required while taking a decision. That's another thing we learned. And creativity, innovation are possible only through intuition. Only intuition gives you that kind of creativity, intuition. And then you can take a leap of faith. That means you can really believe in your idea, which comes out of intuition, and start working on it objectively using logic. That's what we learn. And also, to manage the risk, logic is required. Your intuition might have given you a very good idea, very good innovative idea to solve a problem. But while working on that idea, there is a chance of risk. To manage the risk, again, logic and rationality is very important. These are the things we can learn from the given statements. Also, another dimension of the essay, next paragraph, another paragraph, definitely you have to write why visionary decisions are needed. Not only for India, for the world. Why it is needed? For an organization, for society, for a country, for the world as a whole. Why it is needed? Decision. See, one thing is, they are forward thinking because they think long term. It helps in solving the long term problems. It gives you better consequence in the long term. So hence, it is very important. See, it will not solve only the present issues, but aim at the future goals. And also, friends, innovation is possible only in visionary decisions, innovation. And also, only somebody who is visionary can influence the team. And only such decisions will be not just incremental, but revolutionary. Most of the revolutionary changes that happened in the world are because of visionary decision making. Hence, it is very important. And also, can we really improve intuition? Finally, I would like to write something spiritually. For example, intuition is very important for the youth or anybody. We can really develop the intuition. And I wrote some measures of how we can develop the intuition. One is, for example, whatever gut feeling you have got, gut feeling, trust it. Don't leave it away. Try to be mindful. Try to think within yourself. Try to understand who you are. Only then you can trust your gut feeling. And also, whatever you dream, do not just leave it. Think and work to realize it. So, believing in the dreams, Understanding that dreams come out of subconscious mind. It tells you who you are, and working on it is important. And also be mindful about things happening around you. Listen actually what is said by others. Practice the meditation. Constantly, reflect into yourself to understand who you are. Spend more time with the nature, and also try to practice empathy by understanding the feeling of others, the emotions of others, problems of others. These things actually will help you become a person of better intuition, and such kind of intuition help you be innovative, take better decisions. In this way, in a futuristic way, in a suggestive way, I would like to conclude the essay. Maybe intuition is deeply personal extension of yourself. Intuition comes from subconscious mind, it's yourself. So in this way I would like to end the essay. But the framework of the essay, as you see, understanding the keywords of the essay, entire meaning of the essay, examples of the topic, critically analyzing the topic in both ways, what can we learn from that, what do you suggest, how it is useful, and the essay. Friends, in next video I'll come up with the next question. Thank you.